From hilarious reactions to John Jones's big announcement, all the way to just random funny MMA AI images in general, today, guys, we are going to be recapping everything that went on in the MMA world today. It's going to be a couple posts that I've seen, and we have gathered a ton of things that have hit the Explore page. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's get into the first topic today from championship rounds over here. Jake Paul says MMA is a crappier version of boxing. Let's listen to this, all right? And it didn't play.
What it was. That's the truth of the matter. Boxing is bigger than ever.
I agree.
The biggest sporting event of the year in 2024 was boxing. Whereas,
yeah, but how was that event? Let's be real. Let's be real.
MMA is becoming a shittier version of boxing. Essentially, it's kickboxing because everyone.
What about the rest of it? What about the rest of it?
Is getting good takedown defense, and everyone's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So there's no more submissions, really. Right. There's not a lot.
Okay, hang on. I'm not somebody, honestly, guys, I'm not somebody to just mindlessly hate on Jake Paul like the internet likes to do. But, like, let's be real. What has this dude been watching? This dude does not watch MMA. There's no chance.
Takedowns, and even if there is, it's fucking boring. But everyone's good at takedown defense. Right. So it's literally kickboxing. Guess who the biggest star of the sport is? In MMA.
There's no way he's going to say Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira.
That's just... that's one guy out of everybody in the UFC and all of the stars that have been in the UFC.
Who's a kickboxer because he's knocking everyone out, blah, blah, blah. And
Khabib, Makhachev, Chimaev, like... The list goes on and on. George St. Pierre, John Jones, wrestlers.
And he's the best one because no one can take him down. No one can submit him. So he's just knocking.
Oh my God, this dude really doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't faced anybody who's capable of taking him down.
Everybody out. But
by that I meant like with their strength was the takedowns.
The UFC has less significant strikes per round, and that's with 5-minute rounds. So boxing is going to stand the test of time because it's been since the 1500s. So
now, to be honest with you, I'm shocked that boxing has stood the test of time. I'm shocked that it's not lower than it is, and I'm shocked that it's still seeing the amount of success that it's seeing. But then again, if you have to argue that you have to have a fight like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson in order to get some attention on boxing, I think that says a little bit about boxing.
600 years of boxing. I don't think MMA. I'm not long MMA because it's becoming boxing.
There's, you know what? It's crazy. It seems like he actually believes what he's saying there. That was so wildly inaccurate. It's crazy. Let's take a look at a couple replies over here. It's 2025. We're still talking about Jake Paul and anything fighting related. Yeah, and we're going to continue to because supposedly he's going to be fighting in the PFL. Very terrible take. It's becoming boxing. No chance. Didn't we just witness an amazing fight between Merab and Umar Nurmagomedov that just displayed full MMA? There's been so many unbelievable fights with mixed ground and striking. It's true. It's true. And what do you mean the people didn't like that match? Like, but those aren't MMA fans. Those are like bar fighting fans and those people. And again, I'm not somebody who's going to defend like a very, very boring wrestler, but Umar Nurmagomedov versus Merab Dvalishvili was an absolute banger of a fight. And if you thought otherwise, you expected way too much. I'm not saying it was the best fight of all time or anything like that. It's just, it was a very, very entertaining fight. Let's continue on to the next topic. ACD MMA. Bro, there's 2 eyeballs in this image. That's actually true. That's actually true. It's wild. Like, they got those 2 together. That's funny, actually. That's funny. Only one solution, I guess, to put them together. I don't know what this is. I actually, as much as I grew up on, like, cartoons and all that, I've never actually watched Dragon Ball Z, but people freak out on me when I say that. I just don't know exactly what that means. 2 guys, 2 eyes. Works well for a podcast name. And if that fails, weird, but wow. Okay. Yeah, literally, right? Let's continue on from Show Me the Money podcast. Bro, I can't believe our parlay hit. Me who had an extra leg. So true. I love the way he cries at this press conference. Hang on. It's so like he's actually wiping away his tears. That's so funny, dude. It's literally like how my child does it. Like, it's so over-exaggerated. It's hilarious, but it's so real. I know so many guys that have done this, but they cried it worse than Izzy. I believe it. Honestly, I do believe it. People have so many safe things and then end up adding an extra leg. Rashad just calling out his friend Lucas. That's why we don't get greedy. We cash out. That's so true. And honestly, like, memes aside, it's very important to note when you are betting, yeah, you know what? Sometimes you get greedy, sometimes it works out, but the vast majority of the time, it does not work out. Don't add that extra leg. If something's working out and you have fantastic odds at it, Cash out, play it safe. That is how you succeed in the betting world. Let's continue on ACD MMA again. Do you think that UFC fighters should be allowed to publicly say whatever they want without punishment? Of course, we're taking a look at Bryce Mitchell over here. I do, but like, just guys like, that's a toughie to say on YouTube. YouTube, I'm very grateful to be on the platform, and I would never suggest such a thing, okay? Some people would say it's very important to have free speech in this world. It's very important, and disgusting Dana White for having such a thing in such an organization. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Bryce Mitchell, he should never be able to fight again. Honestly, I did like Dana's response to that, though, where he said something to the extent, well, if you have a problem with Bryce Mitchell, you can get to see, you can watch him get beat up on live television. If it's going to reflect very, very, and I mean very bad on the company, no giving the UFC a bad rep, Dana's going to go beyond bald. Unfortunately, what he did say did reflect bad on the company, but also, you got to think about the internet and their attention span nowadays. It seems like people already forgot about it. Taylor MMA, W Lord of D picture. We love to see it. Without punishment, absolutely. Without criticism, never. They're entitled to their opinion just as we're entitled to call them out for it. Very well said. Very true. I agree with that. Nothing to add over there, okay? Arya Ujo had this to say. Yes, as long as it's not a call for violence. Excuse me. Yeah, that's exactly it. But that doesn't fall under free speech, calling for violence, right? I saw this post, guys. This next one. Marab just posted this out of nowhere. Jacuzzi, anyone? Just him and Umar hanging out. I am a big fan of MMA AI. I love what this platform has done with AI pictures, and I would imagine some of the replies over here. Yep, I would imagine some of the replies over here have more AI MMA images. Look at this, man. Dana White approves. We love it. King Dana taking action against against many of Marab's haters over there. My God. Here we go again. Marab with Umar Nurmagomedov crying in the Coliseum. Look how good Marab looks. I'm so fascinated by the advancement of AI and how quickly it's becoming huge. And we have why is everybody putting Umar bras? Why? Is there honestly, if anybody can comment down below, is there a joke that I'm missing? I don't think so, but it's a little bit of a weird one. Let's continue on to what Superfan had to say this week. Boxing posters versus UFC posters. Unfortunately, it's true, man. Unfortunately, it's true. Look at this. And the UFC used to have incredible posters. They used to do a fantastic job. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if they got another team or if they just cut all funding to something like this, which, let's be real. How much funding do you really need? The UFC posters have been absolute trash. Anton ordered a random UFC poster collectibles a few days ago and already regretted it. Random poster, eh? Could you imagine the crap that you could get from that? No, thank you. Making this the official poster of the biggest event shows where they're at in terms of creativity. And of course, you have UFC 300, one of the worst UFC posters of all time. I cannot believe that for such a monumental event. And you know what's crazy? How much money they spent on UFC 300. But no, we got to call it at the poster. Whoever's making the graphics, they can't stick around. Really is kind of crazy how Conor never got over that loss to Khabib after all these years. Yep, it's true. And I don't know if it's the drugs. I don't know if it's just his ego. I don't know what it is, but he actually never really got out of it. Conor never recovered after Khabib took his soul. Khabib drinking Conor's soul. Dude, it looks like a giant mini shield. Just chilling. He's got Conor's soul. Guys, I would like to see old Conor McGregor back. He was really fun. Khabib, could you please give him his soul back? Imagine personally hating someone that much and knowing there's not a single thing you can do about it. Honestly, that in combination with the drugs might be why he is just going completely off the rails with it. Let's continue on to another reply over here. Khabib finished him with a painful choke and held on after Conor tapped. Then after, he had to be forcefully separated from Conor before spitting on him and jumping the cage to fight his team. Also, Conor got jumped by Khabib's team. He was dominated completely. That's the case. But the thing is, there are so many people that would get over something like that, and from Conor's own words in that fight, it's only business, right? And here we go from championship rounds. I'm sure that you guys have all seen this. Conor McGregor spit in this guy's face after he yelled, "Let's go, Khabib. I spit in your face. What do? Nothing."
Yo, McGregor, can I get a picture?
What's the big deal? You know that the dude wants a reaction out of you, but Conor McGregor, he's probably drugged up at this point. It's crazy, too, that the people, these people are so, arrogant walking up to somebody like Conor McGregor. And I know that Conor McGregor isn't somebody to look up to anymore, but still, it's the state of the world that we live in, where you don't have to face action or consequences for your actions. I'm not saying, it's wrong to really go, let's go Habib. But in previous generations, you would not have been this comfortable walking up to somebody of the status of Conor McGregor, right? Look at the smirk on his face, dude. Crazy. Conor just does not care anymore, man. That's wild. Look at him looking back. He just does not care that he has the potential to get sued over there. And, like, he's probably going to get sued, which is insane, okay? The Combat Sports Matrixer responded and had this to say, "Oh, wow, what a tough guy. A former world champion at MMA spitting in the face of a civilian. He didn't even get to say anything to insult him. All he did was mention the guy that beat him in an MMA bout. He has such a fragile ego for someone who is so rich and accomplished." I have always agreed with this. And if you guys have been following the channel, you would know that I've said the same thing about John Jones so many times. Same thing about Conor McGregor. You have these guys that are literally the toughest people in the entire world. How do we have some of the most insecure people on this planet that are like John Jones, Conor McGregor, Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland? How do you have all of these guys that are so beyond insecure, but they can walk through life tougher, more capable, and just flat out destroy anybody in existence? I don't understand how these people have such fragile egos. It does not make any sense to me whatsoever. All right, we have Khabib over here. Khabib holding a word that I can't necessarily repeat on YouTube over here. But let's continue on to a new topic, guys, over here. Ariel Helwani posted this. "We are approaching a territory where it feels like there could be a superstar shortage in the UFC. With many of the top names in their late 30s, we are nearing a new era." I don't know what to think about this one, to be honest with you, because there are certainly stars on the rise, but there's nothing like a Conor McGregor right now. But let's hear Ariel out.
Every time I go on these radio shows, every time I go on these podcasts, and especially when I talk to like mainstream, quote unquote, general sports shows, they always ask me about who's the next star, who's the next this guy, who's the next A-lister, who's the next pay-per-view draw, who's the...
Now, like, there are certainly people with capabilities like Ilia Topuria. Alex Pereira is a superstar. It's just there's a lot of guys that have the capabilities, but we haven't been shown like their top level yet.
The next Conor McGregor, who's the next John Jones, Anderson Silva, GSP, and I usually am always saying like boom, 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 boom. We are approaching a territory now where it feels like there's a bit of a superstar shortage.
I would say there's a little bit more of a shortage, but I wouldn't say like shortage to the point where it's concerning for the UFC because they still have a ton of draws.
Is he not being, a top guy anymore, at least as of right now, is a problem. He is beloved.
Is he? I mean, like, he definitely brings in the numbers, but is he really a beloved fighter?
You don't have Sean O'Malley as champion. Who knows if, when Conor McGregor ever fights again? Who knows how many John Jones has left?
Yeah, but you just need to look on to the new talent. You just need to give them time. The reason a lot of these guys that are in their 30s didn't really become like major stars until they were in their 30s.
Like, there is a superstar shortage right now. And so Khamzat is a superstar. Khamzat needs to fight for the belt next. You can't put him in there against a Kaio or an Imavov and
I understand what he's saying from a business standpoint, but I wouldn't have a problem seeing him fight another contender. It's not even like, well, at this point he deserves the title fight, but if they wanted to book him against a contender, he could still draw.
Risk him losing. It's going to be very interesting as some of these guys start to move on, and Izzy was, beloved. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with him.
With Israel Adesanya, I don't know. Like, I think the UFC will be in an okay spot. I wholeheartedly believe they need to do a better job in promoting some of their talent, though. They could be doing way better. But then again, you could argue that when the UFC tries to promote a fighter, when they try to really push somebody like Paddy Pimblett, or they really try to push like a Peyton Talbot or a Sean O'Malley especially, it ends up not really working out in their favor all too much. But let's continue on. Jake Gerber, MMA, had this to say. Paramount that the UFC stops giving a crap about Jones, start pushing the heck out of Tommy Aspinall, pay John what he wants in hopes that Tom KOs him to build his name off John. We have guys on the rise, need them active. We have champs and contenders that can fill the gaps. The UFC needs to focus on them. I completely agree with that. Very, very well said. And I didn't even think about that. The activity is another major problem. So many of these fighters are not nearly as active as a bunch of guys in the past. And I know you can get into the entire fighter pay issue, but that is an unfortunate reality of the entire situation, okay? Let's continue on. Database Sports Pick says, have you ever heard of Ilia Topuria? Yeah, he certainly has. I mean, you could say he's a superstar right now, but he has potential to be one of those major stars within the UFC. Calibo's the casual, skeptical empath had this to say. Maybe if Dana White and the cabal of owners could put forth a little more money into promoting younger and more fighters, this wouldn't be a problem. Seems like being cheap and filling owners' pockets full of 80% of the revenue is affecting the product. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I don't know why. Like, we don't have strong press conferences anymore. We don't have all of, like, the last time they did it was with O'Malley, and even then, like, it wasn't anything, like, significant, like what they used to do with guys like Conor McGregor and stars before him. The UFC does need to do a better job, but they seem a little bit comfortable, which is a little bit unfortunate, okay? Now, superstars kind of create themselves. Once the old guard starts leaving the sport, it's inevitable. I don't think that we'll ever have anything to the level of a Conor McGregor again. I really don't believe that. Like Ronda Rousey, what you can have somebody to the level of Ronda Rousey, but Conor McGregor was a special superstar. But there will be more superstars. They will create themselves. They'll go viral. They'll do something fancy in the cage. Like, there's a lot of guys that have potential. Even like a guy on the come up like Gene Silva. You know, there are all these guys with capabilities. We just need to give them a little bit of time to get flushed out within the UFC. Let's continue on to Drew G. Aspinall, Pereira, Dricus du Plessis, Ilya, Islam are all great champions. I'd say this is the strongest set of champions they've had in a while. There will never be another Conor, so take him out of the comparisons. He was a unicorn. I really like that last part of there. There will never be another Conor, so take him out of the comparisons. He was a unicorn. But all of these fighters definitely have the potential to become superstars. I get what Ariel's saying, but I do ultimately disagree with him. Gemini Jack had this to say. It felt like this about 2 years ago. Now we have some stellar champions like Pereira and Aspinall and Taporia. I think the issue we're going to run into is that these guys are so dominant. There's no rivalries like there used to be. Some of these champions seem too good. But I also think a problem with this is a problem with the UFC part. They don't have done things like the go big press conference anymore. They don't have giant press conferences. They don't have the face-off. They don't have the sit-down interviews. We don't get any of that anymore that kind of encourages that behavior. We even had, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I almost want to say it was a Masvidal thing. There was a press conference where two guys started talking shit to each other, and Dana said something to the extent of like, hey, these guys aren't even fighting each other. Just chill out. Like, huh? This is how we build the superstars. This is how we build the mega fights. I think it's a big UFC problem, if anything, right now. Let's continue on to Liam Healy 16. What fight would sell more? Jones versus Aspinall or Makhachev versus Taporia? They'd both be mega fights, but I do think it would be Makhachev versus Taporia. They are individually. I don't know about Taporia. I'd have to look into like some sort of numbers for him, but I think worldwide they would pull more numbers. But John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is a really big one. Islam Illy because of the international star power from both these guys. John doesn't sell like the people think he does. I agree with that. I think it's well said. But if John Jones were to fight the actual heavyweight champion in Tom Aspinall, I think that would definitely sell more numbers, okay? Jones, just because I know people who aren't into MMA will still watch and know if Jones is fighting. That's a good point, too. I know a ton of people over at work that don't follow UFC, but they know John Jones, but it's still not to the level of some of these other stars. So I would love to know what you guys think about this one. And I saw this one, guys. As soon as this fight announcement happened, yep, people were talking about it. Who knew? Like, out of this entire division, who would have thought that one of these fights could really go around the MMA community, okay? Jacqueline Amarim will take on Polyana Viana at UFC Kansas City on April 26th. I will let you decide where the type of reactions went for this one. Let's go. Imagine saying that about that kind of division. It's time, boys. Ready for the fight. Let's go. Only 3 rounds of these baddies. Yeah, imagine calling for a 5-rounder for a WMA fight. I love this picture of Dana. I know it's AI, but like, so funny, man. So funny. Let's continue on to Ben Davis. I'm sure that you guys have all seen this clip right now. Kevin Lee got flattened in sparring, and this was a massive clip. Oh, look at that, dude. I'll turn it down just a tad over here. That was a massive shot. Kevin Lee just goofing around. Boom. And knocked him like. And Lawler's a good guy, man. Picking him up immediately. Poor Kevin Lee just can't catch a break, man. He really can't catch a break. Why is his partner trying to kill him? True. You should never be fighting like that. You should never be sparring like that. That makes for a bad sparring partner. There is hard sparring, but he went for the kill blow, man. Sparring partners never hit that hard. Flying knee didn't look heavy either for y'all commenting on that. He was going through the motions, man. Like, it wasn't a flying knee with intent. You could just tell. And I think it was a little bit ridiculous to, like, knock Kevin Lee out like that, okay? Let's continue on. Another post that I saw organically. MMA Guru just, LOL, at Ariel Helwani, just comparing the views to Ariel Helwani, comparing it to the MMA Guru. It's actually like really, really cool to see how big the MMA Guru has gotten, like somebody that wasn't part of the media. And that's arguably why he's been so big. So just flexing his views on Ariel Helwani, kind of funny to be honest, especially since Ariel, you know how he feels about the Guru, right? MMA Head's reply to that, he has had ESPN pushing him for years, and he has access to all the fighters. This is actually embarrassing. Unfortunately, it's crazy to me that Ariel is actually like performing, and I don't want to say he's performing bad, but he's not performing to the success that he may be. This is another reply to it. I don't know if this is supposed to be Nina drama. I don't know. But there's the Guru getting wheeled in by a baddie, okay? Waiting for the day Pinky gets wheeled out on stage to accept the MMA Personality of the Year. I don't know, like, does that have anything to do with the last picture that we saw? Could you imagine, though, dude? Could you imagine? Let's continue on. MMA fighter who KO'd Kevin Lee in viral video, Mirel Husinov, is upset that the video got leaked. All right, let's see. I haven't seen this.
About that video right now trending on internet. Bro, this is MMA gym, you know, can happen everything. Many time I got injury and
What's that have to do with just absolutely cranking your sparring partner and fighting way too hard and throwing way too hard of a shot?
my partner choked me and hurt me, I cut my eyebrow and then
Yeah, but that's stuff that happens. What doesn't happen is you throwing a bomb at somebody just going through the motions of a flying knee.
all the stuff. I broke my leg, my hand in the gym. That's MMA gym. We're warrior. We'll not get like each other mad, sad, nothing. Even
What am I listening to, man? I'm done. I'm not listening to 2 minutes of that. Like, just apologize to Kevin Lee. You don't even need to post a video about it, okay? I understand him. I drop my sparring partners all the time due to my due to my power. Yeah, me too. Lee wasn't even committing to that knee. It was just a sparring move. This guy overreacted. 100% he did. And I didn't even mean to say that because of the reply, but dude, he literally did overreact. It was nuts. And either that or he wanted to look cool. The other thing was he cranked Lee with a huge shot and then walked off. So he was trying to look sick, dude. Kirk Burrell replied and said, "Good kid, I have zero issue with any of it. It's fighting, and it seems like they're serious sparring partners and will continue to be." That, like, but I agree with the reply over to that too. Fighting and sparring are two different things. That was completely unnecessary, and that's something that could change Kevin Lee's life. Here's the biggie, okay, guys? Here's the biggie, and believe me, there's going to be some reactions to this. By the way, guys, please hit like and subscribe on the channel if you are enjoying the video so far. If you've made it this far into the video, I'm sure that you're enjoying the content. So please, again, hit like, hit subscribe. Thank you for coming over here. Johnny Meat. All right. John posted that he was going to have a major announcement, and all of the gullible MMA fans out there thought that it was going to be the Tom Aspinall fight, okay? He posted this: "While this may not be a traditional fight for me, it's obvious that too many Americans are being hurt and forced into medical debt or bankruptcy by a healthcare system so greedy that the hospitals and insurers hide their actual prices so they can charge us with whatever they want." You understand where he's going with this. We'll just get into the video. This was Jon Jones' big announcement, and I can't believe that there were people out there that actually thought it was going to be a fight announcement. I don't even know where he is, by the way. Sorry, I love when he gets serious. I love when he gets serious. Just like we see Jon Jones like in the car too, like praying like, "Hallelujah, my Lord." Look at that face, man. He's so serious, as if like he's so serious if he just didn't get like sit back down from like clocking his wife upside the head.
Thanks for joining me today. This next fight for me is a personal one, but it's not just for me. It's for every American who's ever been bullied, robbed, or deceived.
Jon Jones is saying this. Jon Jones wants to be loved so bad. It's incredible. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the video. It's crazy to me that you have guys like Jon Jones who are so legitimately insecure.
It's arguably the most important fight of my career. My next opponent will be the American healthcare system.
Dude, and you know he thought he was so hard saying this too.
I'll be joining power to the patients to take on hospitals, PBMs, and insurance companies that refuse to show us their prices so that they can overcharge us while raking in enormous profits.
Now, to be honest with you, I do think it's like awesome. Like if I'm from Canada. I didn't know that was a thing the U.S. did. They hide their prices. I didn't know that was a thing, and I'm taking him for his word. I wouldn't be shocked if there was more to it, but like in general, that's a good thing to fight for.
We should know that an MRI could cost $600 or $6,000 so that we can avoid overpaying. In America, we shouldn't have to advocate for honesty and accountability in healthcare, but...
Look at John Jones talking about honesty and accountability. You go, John Jones.
Here we are. It's time we all fight for real prices and transparency in healthcare. God bless America, and power to the patients.
Now, it all sounds nice, to be honest with you. It all really does sound nice, but coming from somebody who has, like, the healthcare that everybody else in the world, like, praises us for, because I have to deal with that in streams all of the time. I know I don't stream much on this channel, but I stream on my gaming channel, and I hear it all the time where it's like, oh my god, at least you have free healthcare. At least you're not in the States, you know? I'm like, at least you guys get cured for things. You guys, and while I'm sure there's a ton of flaws in the American healthcare system, you guys do not understand how lucky you are to have what you have in comparison to something like what we have up north, okay? I ended up replying to this tweet and said, did people really think this was going to be a fight announcement? Honestly, I can't believe people really thought that, because people were shocked, like, oh my god, seriously, this is what John Jones is doing? By the way, if you want to follow me over at X, at Clen YouTube, we talk about everything. And you know what? I'll talk about it now, guys. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. I talk about gaming. I talk about MMA. I talk about movies, TV shows, anime. I talk about just a variety of content for another channel, tier list videos. You can follow me at Clen YouTube to join the conversation at any of those topics, or within the channel description down below, the link tree or the actual links to those channels will be there. Let's continue on with some of the replies, and these were so good, man. We thought you were announcing the Tom fight. Yep. Just another one, Ian Gary. Yeah, everybody's reaction. There we go. More of the same. These are all of the reactions to something so serious that John Jones was posting, man. Quack, that's a good one. Ask Bool on the phone. Yup. Is that seriously what John Jones is doing right now? I love this picture of Daniel. Oh, there are so many good things to come from Daniel Cormier's. Sorry. The Dana White oil up one. Yeah, that's definitely some people's reactions to everything. Let's continue on though, guys. Dominic Cruz unfortunately announced his retirement. To the fans worldwide, I have poured every ounce of myself into the sport for the last 25 years. I was really hopeful for one final fight, but unfortunately, 2 shoulder injury dislocations in 8 months calls an end to this guy's career. I gave everything I had and put it into preparation and training for this fight, focusing on my cardio and my body for the past year, but sometimes the body just doesn't cooperate. The pain isn't as bad now that my shoulder is back in place, but the second dislocation was far more complicated than the first. This sport has been everything to me. It's helped shape who I am. Thank you to the UFC for building this platform and paving the way for the fighters like myself and so many others. The UFC broke barriers to set the stage for not just us as fighters, also for every MMA sports organization that followed them across the bridge created throughout politics in order to allow our sport to take place legally in the United States and now the world. I am incredibly grateful to everyone who booked tickets, hotels, and flights to support me. Thank you all for being there through every moment, every victory, and every challenge. You've made this journey unforgettable. Thank you for the love and support. I will carry it with me always. With love, Dominic. And it's unfortunate for that Dominic Cruz had to announce his retirement this way, but I gotta say, man, majorly respectable. Dominic Cruz didn't go out like a Tony Ferguson. Dominic Cruz didn't go out like a BJ Penn. He listened to his body. He said, okay, it is not right for me to move on to another fight. And I'm sure it hurts him to retire this way, but it's really nice to see all the fans showing him a bunch of respect. I am planning on making a video solely on Dominic Cruz's retirement and just talking about what I really enjoyed from him, but all I can say right now is Dominic Cruz, thank you very much for all of the entertainment over the years. I loved watching him, man. Carbazzo MMA had this to say, if anyone has earned a rest, it's you. What you said about the loss in life after UFC 207 helped me get through some tough times. I go back to it when things get down to help keep focused. Your fights have been great, your analysis is appreciated, and I look forward to whatever you do next. Thank you. I love that. I thought that was very well said. I've never really looked back to UFC 207 to help me get through anything, but I do think that Dominic Cruz is somebody to, look up to when it comes to handling losses in the sport and perhaps handling losses in life. I love what he said at UFC 207, and I think it was very well said. Damn, thanks for the memories, brother. Not one of the best, but not the best bantamweight on the planet for a time. Your fights were must-see TV and delivered each time you make the walk. Very true. Very true. I'm going to miss Dominic Cruz a ton, guys. I really am. Let's continue on to a little bit more of a lighthearted part, though. ACD MMA, we're back at him, okay? I think it's safe to say that Tai Tuivasa isn't fighting anytime soon. Dude, I saw this at the Q&A that they did. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's a new biggie boy over there, okay? He's hiring Patty Plymouth as a nutritionist. He literally should. Just imagine Tai Tuivasa dropping down to 185 or something. I'd love to see that. You act like he isn't this fat when he fights. I don't think he's that fat, man. I think he gained he gained some weight for this. He really did. But unfortunately, he's never really in shape, okay? Let's continue on to Blonded MMA. Toporia's brother is literally a cheat code. Apparently, Alexandre Topuria is great at imitating other fighters' styles. Let's take a look at this, okay? Oh my God. So, imitating Ryan Hall. Not bad. Not bad. Looking good. He's the real success for Ilia Topuria. And I am recording this video, depending on when you're seeing this, I am recording it the night before the UFC debut of Alexandre Topuria, so we'll see how it ends up. Not bad. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And look how Ilia Topuria ended up performing. I would imagine this actually helped a little bit. I like that. And even just like the way he stays on his back too, man. That's actually pretty good. About to get fraud checked hard on Saturday. Let's see how this ends up lasting. Let's go back to Dovey. Enjoy retirement, Dom Cruz, forever a legend. I'm a little confused by this photo. Okay. Any athlete who left the sport undefeated, I question, are you really undefeated or did you not challenge yourself as hard as you could have? Dominic Cruz. This got 189.7k views, and I don't get it. That's not Dominic Cruz. What am I missing here? All right. Sorry. There's always that one guy. Hey, Kendra, look at this. Just like so casual too. And you know he's like, bro, she might DM me after. Kendra, check out this post, dude. Just, it's so casual, like we don't know this guy's intent, and he legitimately thinks he has a chance. Wild. But you know what? It got me thinking, to be honest with you. You know how we were talking about that one picture with the MMA Guru and Nina Drama? Well, when they went through their entire situation, I did make a video recapping everything and reacting to that, which you can check out right here. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care.